Hi everybody, this is Osprey from MyChartCoach.com, and in this video we're going to take a look at the marijuana sector. Check it out. This is the North American Marijuana Index. This is the composite that combines the United States and the Canadian indexes together, and as you can see here, it closed up 15% today. So huge move today. The United States index was up nearly 13%. Notice how they closed near the high of the day. Super strong moves, and then you have the Canadian index that was just on fire. I mean, pushing hard all the way into the close. So this was a very strong move for the marijuana index. A lot of the stocks are frothy. We literally have dozens of stocks in play right now that are both Canadian. The Canadian ones that we follow trade over the counter, so you can trade them in the United States. People do trade them on the Toronto Stock Exchange as well. And then there's the United States sector. There are a few that trade on the big boards, and then there's quite a few there's a bunch that trade over the counter. And so basically what we're going to do is we're going to take a brief look at these charts, and I'll try to get another one out later on tonight if I have time. Okay, so first up is Twmjf. This is Canopy Growth, the #1 cannabis company in the world. They are the top dog, and so you always want to look at their chart and see how they're doing. It's kind of like if you're looking at the technology sector and you check out Apple, you want to see what's the best of breed doing. And so keep an eye on Canopy Growth, and then the next one that we're going to look at, Aurora Cannabis. And so currently up 9%. It is frothy on RSI and Fasto, but it's pushing hard in the overbought power zone. Notice it can head higher above 70 on RSI. It's currently riding EMA4 support higher. As long as the pink line at 23 points at 23.77 holds, the uptrend should continue. What we want to see now, it's on a blue sky breakout. It's making new all-time highs. On Friday, it made a new all-time high right below 26.50. You want to see a close above that level if you're a bull. Notice there's no upper wick on today's candle. The bulls were strong all the way into the close. So very good day for Canopy Growth. Okay, now we're going to look at Aurora Cannabis. Okay, so this has been on a beautiful run as well. It's on a blue sky breakout. Okay, so it's also making new all-time highs. As you can see, RSI is at 86. You have Fasto at 99. So it is at very frothy levels. And if you can see here, there have been multiple white candles in a row. Notice down here at the bottom, there are 7 green volume bars in a row. Now back here in October to November, look at all those green volume bars in a row. So it can sustain a multi-day run. Now, that said, today a bearish reversal pattern did form, bearish 3 gap ups. This is a pattern that forms when a stock is getting ahead of itself. When it's pushing so hard, it's making multiple gaps up in a row. And then many times it will take a breather. It doesn't mean that the chart is broken. It just means it's taking a pause, similar to back here in November. Notice how it had multiple gaps in a row, spaces in between the open and the close and the open the next day. And so many times you'll have the stock cool down. That happened again, twice in November. And so we're at that same scenario now. Now you just need to be on the lookout for it cooling down. Today's candle did push well above the upper plunger band. You'll see the breakdown first in the 15-minute chart. If the candles do work into the bands, as long as the EMA4 at 796 is holding, the uptrend is strong and intact. If you see it drop below, you could see EMA8 at 713 tested. Check out the huge volume. I mean, I have to say, we've been on this play since much lower levels, but we did put out an alert here back in November where people that were late to the party could have jumped in when on November 6th we put out alerts that it broke above high close resistance at 250. That was the move that we were looking for. Notice the very tight Bollinger Bands. You could have loaded there and just been riding for the long-term swing trade. As I've been telling everybody, these are long-term plays. Now they're getting pretty frothy, so we need to be careful on potential dips. Okay, let's look at MEDFF. Okay, this is Med Relief. Okay, it trades under the ticker symbol LEAF on the Canadian Stock Exchange. Toronto Stock Exchange. As you can see here, RSI is at 90. Check out how it's hitting previous peak levels. So we need to be careful here that it's pushing really hard. The same thing with Fasto. Notice how it's hitting previous levels where it's topped out in the past. You have Plus DI. The only time that Plus DI has been this high before, that's the green line on ADX, has been back here, on the big November run. And so this is pushing really hard. This is a major blue sky breakout. If you look over here to the left, you can see this stock just started trading back in June down here in the $7 range. And so now, it's up a good, over 200% on the year. It's breaking, 21. It hit 22 today, just about. It looks like, what was the high today? Yeah, 22 exactly. And so today's candle did form well above the upper Bollinger Band. Check out the giant volume. This is what happens when many times when stocks get to higher levels. That's when institutions can jump in. So we'll have to see here if they can keep pushing this higher, or if it's going to take a pause. Many of these, if you miss the boat and you don't want to chase, wait for that dip and try to play the bounce on the pullback. EMA4 down here will be the first support level at 1790. If that breaks, you could see a drop down to 16. This is a blue sky breakout, so it's hitting uncharted territories. You just have to follow the intraday charts for the first sign that it's breaking down. Okay, let's look at Imlff. Talk about blue sky breakout. Here's another one. Gotta love these Canadian plays. I've been saying it over and over again. These have been money. Sometimes you can just you can just let it ride, and that's the easiest thing to do. And as you can see here, when alerts were put out down here near 20 cents, it's been just cruising ever since. And so it's been a major winner since the bottom down here in what was that, August? And so what happened last month, because this is a monthly chart, I wanted to show this to you because it's the first trading day of the month and it's breaking out higher. On the closing Friday, it closed above the previous high, the all-time high for the stock, which was in 2014, May 2014, and it also closed above high close resistance, which was the close from May 2014. So the close last month above two key resistance levels was signaling more upside potential. Now it's pushing higher again this month. So it's on a multi-month run. It's cruising above the middle Bollinger Band down here at 35, and it's riding EMA4 support higher. What you want to see is EMA4 hold. That would mean the chart is super strong. It's been holding since back here in August. As long as it's holding, the long-term swing trade channel signal is to keep riding. Now what you want to see now is that closing price from last month. You want to see that turn into support. So if it does dip down, you want to see that level hold. Okay, let's look at Isolf. I know we have people in the chat that are on this. We have so many marijuana sector plays. I can't cover them all, but I want to show you this one because a lot of them have been taking off and running. This one is more in the setup mode. Okay, so it's only at 56 here on RSI, so it has room to run until the 70 overbought level. Fasto just broke back above 50, so it's heating up. What you want to see here is that green line cross above the black line and ADX, similar to back here when that signaled the start of this previous big run. And so the Bollinger Bands aren't tight like October and November before the last big push, but they have tightened. I mean, if you look back here, the lower Bollinger Band was off the chart down here on the 11th, and it was pushing way up here to $1.70. They've really constricted here. We've got the lower Bollinger Band at 89, the upper Bollinger Band at 145. What you want to see if you're a bull is a break above this high close resistance level in December. That is the top of the channel. And so if you can get a close above this around 142 level, that should signal that it wants to break out higher. The reason why I'm showing you this chart today is the close above the middle Bollinger Band. Notice it closed above that level on the 26. Well, it pulled back. It wasn't quite ready. Now it's back above that level. If it can stay above 117, it is in play, and we're looking for a run back up to those 140s and potential breakout higher. Okay, so let's look at those were all Canadian stocks. Now I'm going to switch gears here and show you some American cannabis sector stocks. Okay, these are traded over the counter in their U.S. Sector stocks. And so check out Nugs. This is one that we've been on for the last couple weeks, and it's been a huge winner. It's up 125% today. So yeah, please come check out our chat if you want to be on these at lower levels. The premium chat is where it's at. As you can see here, the peak here on RSI is almost being hit again. You have Fasto that peaked and then pulled back, and so that was caused by the upper wick on today's candle. It's on a huge run here. It broke out down here at the beginning of December, and then the last 2 weeks it's been pushing really hard from 8 cents all the way up to hit almost, what was the high today, near $3. So this is it's pushing super freaking hard. The EMA4 at 127 is the key level to hold. You can see it's pushing above the upper Bollinger Band. So that's a big drop between the current close and the next support level. So keep that in mind. There is a big volume spike today with the upper wick, so this could be be a potential little climax spike. As long as EMA4 holding, the chart's really strong. The first close below that level, that'll be the first signal that the chart is actually cooling down. So you have to be on the lookout for a climax spike today. I want to show you the longer term chart for NUGS for Nugs. This is the monthly chart, and this is showing you know, back where the previous start of trading was in 2005, and as you can see, it was way up here in 2005, and right now it looks like it's filling the jar. You know, it's working its way back up to those levels. It is currently hitting resistance from back here in 2006, so you have some key levels to break. So it's breaking above this 2006 level. You want to see a monthly close above, so that would be, you know, that's the big level, and then now it's hitting this resistance from earlier in 2006, you know, the previous close. So if it could bust above those two candles, then it could run back up into the fours, which would be the next resistance level back here, which was previous support. So yeah, so this is what we call filling the jar. So it's made a really big move in it last month, and it's following through this month with another big push higher. So congrats, everybody. Okay, let's look at Xxii. Now this does trade on the American stock exchange, so this is a big board marijuana sector play. People are always asking about those, and this is one. It's only trading at $3.21 currently. It's been on a big run. It had a technical development today. It had a gap fill. So notice there was a gap back here in October, and so there was a space between low of day on this candle and high of day on this candle, and that gap filled today. Notice how this candle, you know, closed above that second red line, and so what you want to see, the top of that gap turn into support. If it does, the next key resistance level is 340. That is the next target. You want to see it close above 340 to signal that it wants to head higher. If 320 turns into resistance, you could see the candles pull back in the bands. As long as EMA4 at 295 holding, the uptrend should continue. Okay, let's look at Cnbx. Okay, so this stock has been on a very nice multi-day run. It currently has RSI at 89 and Fasto at 95. It's pretty frothy here. Okay, so when you have the OTC stocks getting super frothy, that means overbought on RSI and Fasto and on a multi-day run, you need to start getting cautious. Look at all these green volume bars in a row. I mean, this thing was a piece of junk in October. Nobody wanted it. But the last 2 months, it's been the hottest thing since sliced bread. And yeah, it's really been parabolic last week and again to start this week. Keep in mind, Tuesday is bear attack day. So you have to be on the lookout for a bear attack tomorrow. It looks like bear's 3 gap ups reversal pattern possibly formed today. If that was a gap up on this candle, it looks like it was a slight gap up open. So if the candles do work back in the bands, you want to see EMA4 at 191 hold. As long as the, you know, it's currently trading above all the moving averages, and it has a very strong chart. You know, as long as support holds, the uptrend should continue. It just might take a pause before it keeps pushing higher. Let's look at Canb. This is another one that's breaking out and pushing hard. It closed up 44% today. As you can see here, it's been filling the jar back to this January 2017 levels. You can see it hit that 5.5 level, which is over here. And if you can get above that, then you have this basically 6.7 level, and then the high close, which is up here at 8 cents. So if it can push through 5.5, get through 6.7, it could head up to 8 cents and continue filling the jar. Notice volume is increasing on the way up. It's pushing super hard, riding EMA4 support higher. You know, it's down there at 379. As long as that's holding, the uptrend is intact. Okay, let's look at Rmhb. This is another one that has performed really well. We were on it on the break above the middle Bollinger Band, and so this is one that you could have got in early. You know, we put out alerts on this candle right here, and so on the 19th of December, it broke above the middle Bollinger Band, you know, and then it got above the 50-day simple moving average, and then there were more alerts put out. It did pull back, and then it got back above the middle Bollinger Band, and we put alerts on that as well on the 26th, and then notice it's been on a 5-day run. So congrats everybody that's sticking with the trade. This is called sticking with the trade. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, this was a good one. It was returning some nice percentage gains. You know, you could have loaded in down here in the 7s or 8s, got out up here between 16 and 2, and then reloaded down here, and then now you're riding again. It closed above the 100-day simple moving average. As long as that level holds, the uptrend is still intact. If you see it close below the 100-day simple moving average, that could signal it could cool down, and then you might see it pull back down and test that 50-day simple moving average. If the 100-day simple moving average holds, then you want to see it break above the September-October consolidation zone here. If it can get above 3 and above 3.5, then we're looking at a potential run up here to the 200 and 300-day simple moving averages between 5 and 5.74. Okay, let's look at, and notice the big volume behind the move. Okay, so TRTC, this had a lot of hype over the holiday break there. They got their license to sell cannabis in the state of California. I think they have a medical license and they applied for the recreation. It's really all about the recreation, so just keep that in mind. That is the lottery ticket. And yeah, lots of people have medical licenses. It's the recreation that's hard to get a hold of. So that'll be a big accomplishment if they get a recreational license. Notice it has the multiple gap ups in a row. So this has the frothy 3 gap ups pattern with the long upper wick on today's candle. And then yeah, I should just show you the accumulation distribution on here, because what you're going to see is a spike down. They use the hype over the weekend and then the big move to dump some shares, it looks like here. And so you always have to be on the lookout for that. You can't get greedy when you start seeing the long upper wicks forming and it's multiple days in a row it's been up. Remember, this is an over-the-counter stock, and they make money off of selling shares. So you always have to be ready to lock in those gains. And so it could pull back now. There's an unfilled gap below, and then look at accumulation distribution down here. Look how it closed up today 18%. There should be a spike up on big volume, but it dropped off the cliff because they were dumping shares into the rally. Look at the spike down on CMF. That's not what you would want to see on a day that the share price is up. So what that's signaling is that they're dumping shares, and if the company's dumping shares, that puts pressure on the share price, and it's likely to consolidate. So if they keep dumping, these companies over the counter are their own worst enemies. The ones that are United States, and they're not, the Canadian ones are rocking out. They're making lots of money, and there's some U.S. that are making money as well, but a lot of these are still selling shares to pay the bills, so keep that in mind. What you're going to see now is likely a pullback to fill this gap, and so a drop down to 40 cents would fill the gap. You could see it pull back, fill the gap, and it looks like the other gaps are filled, and so that is good. And then a bounce off of 39. So look for potential bounce off of EMA4 at 39 and gap fill. Okay, let's look at MSRT. Okay, so yeah, this has been on an awesome run. Congrats everybody. This is another one we've been following. Closed, Fasto and RSI are really frothy, and as you can see, it was down here at 15 cents. It really hit like close to 10 cents down here in November, and it's just been tearing ever since. Check out the big volume at the top. Well, they just had after hours filing today that they are selling shares, so be on the lookout for that. They're not even close to being done. They have a lot more to sell. So yeah, they're able to push the share price higher. It's hitting $1 right now, and so it needs to break above that dollar level to head higher. If it fails to break above $1, you can see the candles pull back, and the downside risk is that it comes back to test this 300-day simple moving average at 62. It broke above that level today, which was impressive, but the downside risk is it hits that 300 and then drops below, and there's a gap between these two candles. So a drop down to 52 would fill that gap, and there's another gap way down here between these two candles. And with dilution, they're likely to pull back at some point and fill those gaps. So keep that in mind. Okay, let's look at the MSRT weekly chart. The weekly chart is looking really good. It's got this nice breakout. It had been, it'd been on this downtrending multi-year downtrend, right? And so it's been hitting the top of this channel and hitting the bottom and coming back. I could make this different, but yeah, this is just quick. But the bottom line is it's breaking above the descending resistance line, this multi-year descending resistance level. And that is a signal that it wants to head higher. It's also breaking above the 100-week moving average at 70. That's the gold line there, 75. So you want to see that level hold. If it can close above that level for the week, and turn into support, then it could push higher. And then now you can see the key resistance level to break, which is the high close, which was the first week of January. If it can close above that, then it could head higher and run up to 150. The all-time high close is up here at $2 from back here in 2015. That's the ultimate target and big level to break. If the uptrend can continue, we'll just have to see how much this dilution is going to weigh on the share price. Okay, so check out GRSO. This was another big winner. Check out how it's up another 54% today. You know, we were putting out lots of alerts last week. This is a play that we alerted actually when it first started, so you could have been on this early. That's what we're trying to do, is find ones that are just starting out. So yeah, keep that in mind. Entry point is everything. This one did close above 50 today at 57, so the chart's heating up. You have RSI back up there at 100. There was a bull cross on ADX, and so this is the weekly chart here, and I want to show this to you because it's breaking out this week after the nice close last week. You know, it's breaking out on the daily chart, and then as you can see here, that this dotted purple line is the middle Bollinger Band on the weekly chart. It closed above that level last week. That's currently at 0.044. That was signaling more upside potential. Now this week it's breaking the 50-week moving average at 0.074. That's the green line. If it can close above that level for the week, it would be super bullish. Okay, it did have the PSAR bull flip last week and the giant volume. Notice the big volume on the first trading day of the week. It needs to close above that level. If it fails to, then it could signal it's not quite ready to go, and it could pull back to test that middle Bollinger Band. Okay, and now let's check out LBUY. This is Leaf Buyer Technology. So these guys are heating up here. You know, it's been on this multi-day run. As you can see, it was down here at 90 cents. It's been pushing super hard. Today, it broke above the 100-day simple moving average at 179. So that was a super bullish close. You know, it's getting frothy. The big level that it needs to break is up here at 360. Okay, so that's the closing price on the 24th of August. So yeah, if it can get through this current resistance zone that it's hitting right now, it could, as you can see, it hit that one right there, and then you know, it hit the high close resistance level at 273, 274. Yeah, right there, 274, and pulled back. And so it's going to need to break above 274, break above 290, and then 360 is the ultimate top here. Yeah, notice the big volume behind the move today. We have to be on the lookout for the climax spike. If the candles do work back into the bands, you know, EMA4 is down there at 203, so you know, you could see a big haircut, but 30% drop just to that first support level. Okay, let's look at Mgwff. Okay, so this is one more. Yeah, this is this is another Canadian one. Just showing this to you because it's only at $1 right now. This is the weekly chart. It's been on a big run already. I want to show you this one because you can see it's hitting these levels from back here in 2007. 2006, you know, there wasn't a whole lot of volume back here. It only started trading back here in 2005. It looks like it could be working its way back up to that previous, you know, all-time high close type levels, which would be up here around 146. You know, it does have, you know, it has to always break above that dollar level. That's always a big level. And yeah, you have, you know, it's just a thinly traded stock that doesn't have a whole lot of overhead resistance. Notice back here in 2005, or 2005, 2006, 2007, there wasn't a whole, the volume bars are very small. And look at the giant volume behind the move now. So this has got big volume behind it. We'll see if that can continue. As you can see over on the left, they built a British Columbia grow facility. So yeah, it's going off right now. If you'd like to learn more about charts and technical analysis, check us out at mychartcoach.com. I'll post the link to the chat below the YouTube video. We have tons of stocks in play, lots of great charts that we'd like to share with you. So come and check it out. All right, thank you. Happy New Year, everybody.